And man, you guys, 2 years ago, man, we had no back office. 2 years ago, we had nobody opening calls. 2 years ago, we had nobody to run our onboarding, right? Man, Miss Beck, I love your backgrounds, man. Listen, soon as y'all keep up, she switch up. Soon as y'all keep up, she be like, whoop, I'm on to the next one, right? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Looks like you in the sky rise, right? Somewhere in like Japan. You got the Infinite Eight over there on the side. I love it. But no, you guys, super excited still about convention. Those who went to convention, you guys, y'all know how I'm feeling right now, man. We in overflow, and it was a very powerful event, and I hope to bring that energy back to our team here, and to just this company as a whole. Um, so today we're going to open it up. I always have to give this call a disclaimer, and the disclaimer is that the skill set required to sit with a client or the skill set required to close a client is a different skill set than building a business. Would you guys agree? Right? When we get on the recruiting side of this business, right, we are now talking about building a business. And so I'm going to share with you guys real quick the two contracts that I want you guys to be very clear that you have to understand so that you can always be in the right presence of mind when it comes to the infinite contract with our infinite company. Has anybody ever heard the concept, the infinite contract? You guys heard that concept before? Okay, so with OIC, sometimes people will say, well, the contract, for our infinite company starts off kind of low. Well, let me give you guys the mindset of our CEO. Our CEO, number one, has been doing this for 20 plus years. Okay. And what they did and what we wanted to do at our infinite company was create a contract that truly set people free and gave people true financial freedom. And in the only way to do that was to create a big enough spread on the business side of the contract so that it made it worthwhile and it incentivized you to build a team. See, when I was with the other companies, all right, there was no spread. So let you guys know what I'm talking about here. So there's two sides of the infinite contract. I want you guys to start referring to this as the infinite contract. All right. I'm telling y'all, man, y'all never know what I'm gonna talk about on this call, right? That's why you can't miss this call because it's so much business building philosophy that goes into this side of the conversation. And this is the only place we have. This is why I'll never take this call off the calendar, right? So watch this. This is the production side of the contract, and this is the business side of the contract. All right. Now we know on the production side of the contract, we got 40, 50, 60, 70 slash 80. All right. This is going to be your TA. This is going to be your associate. This is going to be your field director. And this is going to be your business director. Now, am I capped on this side of the contract? Yes, right? I'm capped. I can never write above 70 or 80%. All right. And so the reason that we have a strong cap at 70 and 80 was because on this side of the contract, we wanted to start off with higher spreads. Okay. 14, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. This side of the contract is going to be your cash flow. All right. And this side is going to be your legacy. And you have to have a healthy balance of both. Okay. So this is why we say 3, 3, and 8. Okay. Every month, we're building both sides of the contract equally. Yes. Right. I got three. I'm closing 3 pieces of business on the production side, 3 pieces of business on the legacy side every single month. Okay. This makes sense to y'all so far? Right? This is, watch, I ain't even done yet. This is, Brad Pham is a genius. We got the best contract in the game. I'm gonna continue to go and help y'all with this. Okay, so 14%. Now, in most companies, all right, let's say we're all at field directors at 60%. All right, and what happens in most companies is something called flanking. Right? If I'm at 60%, Tammy, or let's just say I'm at 70%, and I'm a business director, right? Business director is a 70% contract, right? And let's say you shaking and moving at 70%, Tammy, and Amanda is running and she about to hit 70%. Well, in most companies, when somebody else hits your level, you no longer make any money off that recruit. Okay. And it's called being flanked. So you know what they do, Amanda? They start hating on you. All of a sudden, they start ghosting you. They don't answer the phone for you no more, right? They just start acting strange. All of a sudden, you're like, what happened to Timmy? Like we was friends, and all of a sudden now she acting different. Well, she knows that when you get to this 70% contract, right? She not gonna make no more money off of Amanda, right? But what OIC did was OIC said, matter of fact, okay, if Tammy was at 70%, okay, and Miss Amanda was at 60%, that's a 10% difference. When Tammy helps Amanda go BD, OIC gives Tammy a 14% increase in that spread. OIC encourages Tammy to get Amanda to BD. Okay. To say, listen, we want to build a business. So we're encouraging you to build leaders and build people to the top position. And if you build somebody to the top position, OIC is actually going to give you an increase. So instead of getting a 10% spread, when Tammy gets Amanda to BD, she's going to now get a 14% spread on anything that moves in Amanda's organization. Does this kind of make sense to you guys? All right. And so let's get back to, right, the production and business side of the contract and this being an infinite contract. So for example, on this side, we agreed that we're capped, right? We're capped on this side. But what makes this infinite? I always tell people, even though the numbers are smaller in size, they're bigger over time. These are the bigger numbers on the board. All right. Those are the bigger numbers on the board. How is that? All right. Let's create a few scenarios here. All right. Now, this is the scenario that I want you all to operate on. And like Hans talked about so eloquently today. And what did you say, Miss Shelley? I saw your comment pop up, then it disappeared.
Yeah,
But
I was saying.
I'm on my whiteboard. What was you saying, my
Okay,
dear?
sorry. I'm at work too.
Oh,
At work,
okay.
but the 10% spread is on the levels of production. No matter if you're a training associate, associate field director, right? You get 10% on who you bring in.
Absolutely, my
Okay.
dear. Right. That's another great point. Okay. And so as we're building team, let me go with that. Let me go with that since it's present. Okay. So let's say I'm at a 70% contract, Beck, and you bring in a brand new agent. Well, they come in at 40%. This is why you always want to build, right? So let's say we write a policy, we get them bossed up, and then let's say we get them to 50%. Let's go 50% because we don't take commissions really at the 40% level from our agents. That's our team, though. Okay. But let's say 50%. Well, that's a 20% difference. Okay. So now, let's say my new agent writes, out of their infinite list, they write a policy at $500 a month. Well, that's $6,000 in AP, okay? Annual AP. Well, we know National Life Group's going to pay out 75% of that, so that's 4,500. They're going to advance that, all right? Now, let's say as a business director, you split that 50-50. So what's that? 2,250? Is my math correct? 4,500 divided by 2,250. All right. So we working with a $2,250 split. All right. Now, this brand new associate is going to get 50% of that out of their contract. So that's 1,000, 125, right? So they're going to get paid 1,125. Not bad. All right. And then you as a business director, you're going to get 70% of that. Okay. Which is, this is why we say get the BD, 2,250 times 70%, which is 1,575. So they're going to get 1,575. All right. Now, what's cool about being BD is you're also going to get another 20% on that split. All right. So you're also going to get 20% of that 2,250. All right. So that would be 2,250 times 20%. All right. What's going on? 20%. That's another 450. All right. And so as a BD, you can't really lose. Right?
Uh, Mr. Samad, quick question.
Correct.
So this isn't so this isn't if you split the commission. This is just if they write the pot, like you get that 20% if your downline, submitted business. That's what that 20% is, right?
That too, right?
Yeah.
So even if they submitted business, so let's go with that scenario. Let's say you didn't have nothing to do with that, okay? From a split standpoint, all right? And let's say they wrote a policy, all right? And they're here at 50%, okay? And they write 500 AP. That's 6,000 in a month. That's 4,050 advance. You guys understand the 4,050? National Life Group is going to advance 9 months. Okay. They pay the last 3 months as earned. Why do they do that? They do that because they want to save you from owing them a lot of money if this charges back. All right. Chargebacks are real. And I love 9 month advances over 12-month advances all day long because I've had people forfeit policies at month 9 and I just broke even. Right. So 9 month advances fare far better than 12-month advances. Okay. And then they pay the rest of it as earned. So 500, 500, 500 month 10, 11, 12. Does that make sense? Times your contract, though. You always got to remember times your contract. So let's say this gentleman, Kyrie, at 50%, they do 4,500. All right. Well, you're going to get 20% of that 4,500. which is amazing, right? Because just because you are in position. Now, what is this model? Why does this model make sense? Because some people are allergic to it. Okay. 20%. That's $900. That's just 900 floating in the account. Just, you know. But why does this model make so much sense? And why are we excited about this model? This model favors the business owner. It really does. Okay. It favors the business owner. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. All right. Real quick before we start talking third party building this business and three-way calls. All right. We know that wealth is built on three things. Okay. Anybody want to take a shot at it? Anybody have been to one of these trainings where I talked about the three forms of leverage? What are the three forms of leverage?
Time, people, and money.
Time, people, and money. Let's go, Beck. Okay. Time, people, and money. All right. The only way you can build wealth in this country is leveraging time, people, and money. Right? Some people leverage one, some people leverage two, some people leverage all three. Okay. But if I'm leveraging time, people, and money, when we write policies, Kyrie, right, and we got a client, what are we teaching them how to leverage to build wealth?
Time, capital.
Yeah, time and money.
Yeah.
All right. Right. So we're teaching people all the time one of these three forms of wealth or leverage: time, money, or people. Well, in OIC, we believe that people are your greatest investment. People are your greatest investment. More than gold, silver, more than real estate, people are your greatest investment. And so the reason that the person at 70% gets that 20% back is because they earned it, because they've been pouring in as a leader, right, to the people who come into the business. And so what capitalism is saying is, because of your value, Tammy, and because you poured into Amanda, when Amanda writes a policy, you earned that 10% that rolls up to you. Does that make sense? And then Amanda's going to take what you poured into her and pour it into somebody else, right? And then she's going to start earning 10, 20% spreads. Okay? I see my brother Cliff on. They own a barbershop, right? People call it booth rent, but what it's in our world is just called leverage, right? I built the shop, right? Kyrie got a license. I got a license, but I don't own a shop. I need a place to place my license so that I can make and earn money. Well, because I'm earning money based on what he built, he gets to charge me booth rent. That's leverage. You guys see how this thing works? Anytime you look at business, business is leveraging one of these three concepts: time, capital, or people, or all three. Does this make sense? All right. So when we look at the business contract now, it makes sense. But why is this an infinite contract? I'm going to give you guys what I have hanging up on my wall. All right. I'm going to give you guys what I have hanging up on my wall. Come on, Miss Shelley. You got a question?
That was a mistake. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. All right. So this is what I have hanging up on my wall. And I want you guys to borrow this concept from me. My goal in this business is to have 10 direct business directors. Okay? 10 direct business directors. Some people be talking about they gonna go 18 wide and 100 wide. And I'm like, look, good for you. Right? But I just need 10, Tammy. right? I just need 10. But why is 10 so significant? Because this is where you start a fire you can't put out. Okay. 10 direct business directors. So this is you and your BD, obviously, first. This is why you got to go BD, y'all. All right. You got to get your eyes set on BD. All right. And then now you're going to duplicate. If I got 10 direct BDs at 14% apiece in spread, or what we like to call passive income, I'm at level one. My level one is at 140%. So I got 140% contract, and then my own 70%. I've now created a 210% contract for myself. Does this make sense to you guys? Y'all follow me? I'm not overwhelming anybody, am I? Right? I just want you guys to get the concept that you can customize your own contract here. You could literally customize your contract, and that's why we call it an infinite contract. So I don't want you guys paying attention or getting locked into the 40, 50, 60, and 70. Okay? That's between you and clients. That's the transaction between you and National Life Group and the broker, our infinite company. Now, your business, Beck, let me scoot over. Your business, okay, and your legacy is up to you. You literally have the control now to say, okay, I'm going to develop leaders, but if I'm going to develop leaders, what do I have to become first? A leader. So I got to wake up a little earlier and stay up a little late. I got to read the book of the month. I can't miss anything. You know, I'm so proud of Tammy because Tammy gets it. Listen, if Amanda showed up on this call and didn't see the person who brought her in to this business, she would be de-edifying her leadership. And every day counts. You either are making deposits of buy-in or withdrawals every single day. The first thing people are looking for is the person that brought them into the business every call. And if they don't see you, right, you're indirectly duplicating that into your organization. Oh, it's okay to miss a call sometimes. Oh, it's okay to not show my camera sometimes. And listen, family, listen, I'm talking to these leaders here. In the event that you guys build teams that don't show their camera or may not show up to a call, make sure it's not because of you. Make sure it's not because of you. Because, hey, at the end of the day, it's okay to fail myself, but it's not okay to fail somebody else. Does this make sense? So leadership is the skill set that gets you here. Leadership is the bridge that gets you here to 10 directs. Now watch this. I'm going to just do some quick math. I'm not going to draw the squares. What if all 10 of these got their 10 on the second level? That's 100 business directors at level 2 on the 6% level. Wow. Is that not a 600% contract? See, people don't talk about this because they're scared. I can't tell y'all how many times I drew. I got so many notebooks where I drew this out and showed my wife, like, look, like this where we going. What if these 10 got their 10? That's 1,000 at the 4% mark. Is that not a 4,000% contract? This thing gets ridiculous. This is where people are making $1 million a month in this industry, y'all. A month. Because they're not locked into the left side of the contract. I literally just got off a call. I'm gonna be very transparent with you. I just got off a call with an agent. I'm trying to save them from being locked into the left side of the contract. Because they're like, well, how can I get through? Because I don't feel like I'm making enough money here. I said, well, what are you focusing on? Because here's the true question. Family, is this side of the contract building it at this capacity? Is it gonna happen overnight? No. No. But if you got to 10 BDs, Tammy, in 5 years, would it be worth it? Absolutely. Let's take some hypothetical numbers here. Let's take some hypothetical numbers. Let's just say each one of your BD legs, I ain't even go down to 3%, 2%, and 1%, you guys. You guys know that this thing gets exponential. The deeper it gets, the wider it gets. The deeper it gets, the wider it gets. So watch this. So, Timmy, let's say each one of these legs produced and submitted gross. Let's just say gross, meaning business submitted 100K. Okay. Each BD leg, 100K times 10, that's $1 million. All right. Per month. Right. Across all your BD legs in submitted gross times 14%. Is that not $140,000 a month? It's $140,000 a month. If it took you 5 years to get here, would it be worth it? Man, it's people work all their life and don't get to this kind of money. Right? But this is why we're saying you start with getting the BD. I need all of y'all, man, listen. I need all of y'all to get to BD. We talk about helping clients a lot. We talk about, right? But I promise you, this is the conversation and this is the vision that's going to keep you locked in. This will help you delay your gratification. This will help you say, listen, I don't want that 50% split. New agent, you keep it. You know why? Because the relationship is worth far more than the transaction. Somebody said, well, why y'all don't take 50% on new business? Because I want a business partner. Beck, if you were to write a policy on yourself and your spouse and your children, I don't want 50% of that. I just want you to win, because if you win early and you believe in me as a partner, now we got a longevity picture here. We've got a solid foundation of trust. Mr. Samad really wants me to win. He didn't take a split when he could have took a split. I took you off the racetrack and now I put you on a marathon with me. Let's build something real here. Some people literally trade in the longevity of this picture for 50, like somebody wrote $50 a month on their kid and they want 50%. Oh man, you're thinking too small, man. You're thinking too small. And sometimes we're in situations where we need that money. But I promise you, if you can deny yourself on the front end, man, you're gonna be so blessed on the back end. So blessed. And this is just one hypothetical. 10 BDs producing 100K a month, okay, in submitted gross. So this is a whole organization. They rocking. They producing, right? I want you guys to look at business directors as agencies, by the way. When you become a BD, you're now represented as an agency. Okay? This is where we start talking expansion income. What does this look like? Every BD is a franchise. How many franchises do you want all over the country? Every BD is a franchise. Tammy said 5. So every BD is a franchise. Okay. So I got 2 BDs in the Carolinas. I got 2 BDs in Georgia. I got 2 in California. Right. And now what you're doing, watch this. I'm a reverse engineer. We're going to start talking about some 3-way calls. Now you're just building your business from event to event. Every quarter, you're just moving people to the event. Quarterly event, right? January to the kickoff. Boom. How many people can I get there? In March, we got a quarterly event. CEO putting on something, qualified events. Boom. July, Super Bowl, big convention. Boom. September, October, another quarterly event. Boom. We back at the beginning of the year, kickoff. And each year, your team is growing. Last year, you had 3 at the convention. So watch this. I had 3 at convention. I'm excited. All 3 of them are excited. Is it safe to say they're going to probably bring 3 to convention or to the next event? Right? Absolutely. So we show up to Vegas now. Instead of with 3, we got 9. And then at the next quarterly event, each 3 of those 9 get 3. Now we got 27. By the time we get to convention, those 27 got 3, and we got 71 people at the Super Bowl, the main event, rocking and rolling, breaking bread together, praying together, crying together, right? Dreaming together. All right, you guys. So let's talk about 3-way calls real quick. Does it make sense to you guys? I just wanted to paint a picture real quick of why, at the core of building a business, why these philosophies matter so much when we're talking 3-way calls, third party, infinite 8, because it's connected to this picture. Okay? It's all connected to this picture. What drives this picture, okay, is infinite 8, 3-way calls and recruiting. So I just wanted to reverse engineer it for you guys. All right. So why 3-way calls? Let's talk about that real quick. Okay. Third party recruiting. Third party, third party, third party. Third party is the best party, you guys. Okay. Everything we do in this business duplicates. Everything we do duplicates. You're either duplicating negatively or positively into your business. Is a new person the most qualified person to talk about this business? No, right? So how do I guarantee a level of success for somebody new? I say, listen, leverage. There's that leverage word again, right? Leverage a leader, new person. Let me give you a wealth building concept. You don't got to know all the answers. Leverage me. Let me talk to your people. I know how to answer the difficult questions, right? I know how to get through the rebuttals. I know how to talk to somebody who can come across as intimidating, right? I know how to, navigate the trenches and then get them to the next exposure. Also, too, what you do duplicates. So if you talk to your people for an hour and you like, yeah, man, so I just came from convention and, and it was popping and I really got to get you on board, man, because this, that, and the other. When they get a recruit, guess what they're going to do? The same thing. They're never going to introduce that person to you, right? And so the formalized version of this conversation is, hey, by the way, let me get you on the line with Kyrie Jones. This gentleman, I think you could relate to him. He's doing some amazing things on the platform. He's really down to earth. He loves helping people. He's leading the national expansion of our company. Let me see if I can get him on the line so he can kind of share with you what he shared with me when I first took a look at this. You know what, cuz? Listen, by the way, I know we don't got a lot of time. Let me introduce you to a young lady by the name of Tammy Yarbrough. She's leading the national expansion of our company. She's really down to earth. She really loves helping people. Let me see if I can kind of get her on the line. What that does is it formalizes the conversation. If I'm talking to my cousin, brother, sister, friend, colleague, they don't respect me yet as a business owner. And all I'm doing when I'm on the phone with them is trying to convince them that I'm worthy of leading them into this conversation. And are we in a convincing game? No, we're not in a convincing game. So the best thing we could do is get out of our own way and leverage our limitation. Leverage your limitations. Get that person on the line. Okay. So how does a three-way call go? And why does it work so well? Okay. So let's say I'm on LinkedIn and I got a guy on LinkedIn. Okay. There's three key factors that transition us into a three-way call. Let me pull up the whiteboard one more time so I could kind of give you guys this in a very unorthodox manner. So the first thing we're doing, okay, in a three-way call is edification. This is the lifeblood of building a big business. Edification. How do I know this? Listen, a big event, all the big event is a big edification party. Right? I talked about this. You go to church. Pastor don't talk about himself. He talks about Christ. He's edifying Christ. Right? You want to do something big, edification is always a part of the process. You go to an award show. Why do we love award ceremonies? We watch the Academy Awards. We watch the BET Awards. We watch the Oscars because it's an edification at the highest level. People get dressed to hear other people sing the praises of someone else. Right? How many of y'all would go to the Oscars if somebody gave y'all tickets right now for free? Y'all would go. I'm going. Right? Because we get to see and witness greatness, but edified through the eyes of other people. Anybody ever saw the awards where they'll give a commemoration to a particular artist, right? And they'll have other artists come out and sing their songs. They just did one for Whitney Houston. I almost cried. I didn't realize like how great she was until somebody else sang her praises. And I was like, wow. I was like, man, Whitney really gone. Like this is crazy, right? And I got teary-eyed about it. What was happening was edification on the highest scale. If you build an organization that does this, your organization is unstoppable. Where everywhere you guys go, you're just speaking well of each other and singing each other praises. Like if I walked up to Kyrie at convention and he was ordering food and I'm at the register with him and I'm like, Mr. Kyrie Jones, what's going on, sir? And I talk to the cashier. I'm like, hold on. You don't know who this is? You don't know who this is? Oh my God. And I do the pinky and I spin around 3 times. Oh, y'all know what I'm talking about. Right? You got to do the pinky. Yeah. Oh my God. You don't know who this is? Right? They gonna be like, no, who? Like, who is he? Right? Like, tell me. I'm gonna be like, oh my God, you gotta exchange numbers with this gentleman. He's helping so many people and he's changing so many. Listen, he's so humble, he not even gonna tell you about it. Right? Now, when he gets on the line with this person, right? They're all ears. So, number one, what's happening in a three-way call, edification. Okay. Number two, all right, form, FORM. I got slides for this, but I just want to break this down to you guys on the whiteboard today. All right. What does this stand for? Family, occupation, recreation, motivation. Number 3, pain point. This is huge. All right. Pain point, discovering the pain point. Number 4, FFF, feel, felt, found. And then invitation. So here it is. This is why I tell people do 3-way calls. You do a 3-way call with me, I'm teaching you. That's field training. Okay? Tammy and I have done so many 3-way calls, she probably know what I'm going to say before I say it. But that's how it should go, right? She already know when I'm about to be like, listen, I didn't pay this young lady to say all these things about me, right? She's so phenomenal, Mr. So-and-so. She didn't mention that she's also doing some amazing things, right? All over the country, helping a lot of people. With that said, okay, what's got you taking a look at another opportunity, right? So the edification in the form takes place. So let's take it from the top real quick. Okay. Somebody calls me and they say, Suni, I need you to do a 3-way call. By the way, my name in this business is not Suni. Okay. Just like your name in this business is not Amanda and your big name in this business is not Tammy. Off the grid, yes. But when we're talking to prospects and clients, it's Mr. and Mrs. Why is that so key? Because that's edification. The reason we do it off the grid is so we don't slip up in the field, right? It's a practice, right? It's Mr. Kyrie Jones, Miss Amanda Dunn, Miss Michelle Dallas, Miss Tammy Yarbrough, right? Mr. Clifford Steele, right? So, or Mr. Cliff Steele, right? You can switch it up, but listen, Miss Beck Faraday, like it has to be a Mr. or a Mrs. because we're edifying. This is business. The person on the other line, we don't know who they are. They could be from Northwestern with a team of 100 people, and they're ready to make a major transition. And you're talking about SUNY. It has to be, for him, it's got to be Mr. Samad. And the language that we use is a direct relation to the money we appeal to. See, I'm appealing to millions. So my language is Mr. Mrs. I really don't have no more homies or homeboys or none of that no more. Like, that's my dog, that's my dude. Like, nah, man, if we changing all that, we out for legacy now. We out for legacy now, right? I mean, behind the scenes, don't get me wrong. You know, like, man, we could shoot the stuff all day long, right? But like when it's go time, we all Mr. or Mrs. So I get the phone call from Amanda Dunn. She's like, Mrs. Samad, do you have time for a 3-way call on Thursday at 3, Tuesday at 2, Friday at 4? Okay. Don't call your person and put them on the spot. Day of your BD. Because they're going to want to say yes, right? But they're not going to be able to give you everything on that call because they probably already got something scheduled. All right. You want them to be able to really take their time in that call. So she says, Tuesday at 2, let's do it. All I need to know is the prospect's name. A lot of times we get in the woods of who this person is. You know, he did this and he did that, and he used to play pro ball, and he used to do this and he used to do that. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, you edifying the wrong person. You need to be talking to him about me that way. I don't want to hear about the new dude that ain't even on our platform yet. He ain't on our team. I'm sorry, but I don't really care about him till he join our team. Because if I do a 3-way with you, I'm talking to him like, listen, Kyrie Jones, listen, he used to play, just go to college. He's consulting. He's amazing young man. Only 27 years young. He's already killing it here, right? I'm telling the prospect about the person on our team. Imagine me calling Brad saying, hey, Brad, you got to meet this dude, man. He do this and he do that and he do this. Brad gonna be like, you are so disrespectful. Right? You guys get it? Y'all gotta get where I'm going with this. We have to listen to us, use my language. We gotta be the SHIT to one another. To one another. And if we sing each other's praises at that level, who gonna tell us we not that? Especially if they outsiders, right? So today's Thursday, 3:00. Amanda gets on the line with me. She's like, Mr. Samad, are you ready? Yes. What's the gentleman's name? His name is Brad. Okay, awesome. Let's go. She's like, now she gives a formal introduction. She's already edified me a little bit, okay, before the call. All right. She calls Brad. She says, Brad, it's right now a good time. Yes. Awesome. Real quick, Brad, I just kind of want to get you on the line with the gentleman that I was telling you so much about, Mr. Samad. He's leading the national expansion of our company. He's really down to earth. He really loves helping people. I'm going to see if he has a minute, if we can get a minute of his time. Hold on. Okay. Get him on the line. Get me on the line. Boom. Mr. Samad, are you there? Yes. Brad, are you there? Yes. Perfect. Hey, Brad, this is the gentleman I was telling you so much about. We're so lucky to get a minute of his time. That's edification, by the way. See, you're painting the picture that your leader is so busy, right? That to just have a minute of his time is like we're lucky. Like this is, he don't do this for everybody. Right? But that's all in your edification. Okay? So we're so lucky to get a minute of his time. Brad, this is Mr. Samad. Mr. Samad, this is Brad from LinkedIn. See, he's just Brad. I'm Mr. Samad. He's just Brad. You're Mr. Kyrie Jones. He's just Brad. You're Mrs. Tammy Yarbrough. He's just Brad. Y'all get where I'm going with this? Okay? Big eye, little you. We don't know if Brad could already have made millions of dollars in this industry. We don't know. So I have to set my expert up in a way where I'm leveling the playing field. Right? So, Brad, pleasure to meet you. Okay? I know Miss Amanda said some amazing things about me. I did not pay her to say those things, Brad. She's so humble, she didn't even mention that she's also leading the national expansion of our company. I'm actually honored to be on the line with anybody she introduces us to. When I return that edification, okay, what I've done is she built a stage for me, and then I just pulled her up on the stage with me and gave her a mic. Now we both got mics. Anybody ever been to a comedy show where somebody in the audience tried to roast the person with the mic? It's just not a good thing. They got the mic. They got the mic. You can't win. You heckling from the audience. You don't have a mic. Right? So we just gave each other the mic. Everything we say now is amplified based on the edification. The edification is the mic. So watch this. I know she said some amazing things about me, Brad, but I didn't pay her to say those things. She's just a phenomenal young lady to work with. With that said, what do you currently do for a living? Form. I go right into form. Okay. Family, occupation, recreation, motivation. Okay. What do you currently do for a living, Brad? Oh, well, I'm in the industry. Awesome. How long have you been in the industry? So I stayed there for a while, right? How long have you been in the industry? Great stuff. Cool. Brad is going to tell me about all the stuff he's been doing lately because people love to talk about who? Themselves. Right? So I'm going to let Brad get his off. And Brad going to tell me everything good about what he's doing. Because that's what we do as people, because we got egos, we got pride, right? Oh, I'm doing this. I've been with Northwestern for a while. I've been in the industry for a little while. And, I'm currently helping, this, that, and the other. And people give themselves all kind of fancy names like, I'm a financial, expert helping people plan legacies through trust advisories. And, they got all kind of fancy language for you, right? And you know what? The more people talk like that, the more insecure they are. The more titles people put on and branding they put on in their conversation, because, right now, these last 6 months, we've been really focusing on marginalizing the difference between, and you just be listening like, dude, you a life insurance agent. That's all you are. like we could have just said that and kept it moving, but I'm gonna listen to you just really like package this thing in a way where like, right? Because that's what we do. All right. So perfect. And I'm gonna let him go, Miss Amanda, and I'm gonna say that's awesome. But I'm gonna get to the pain point. See, I'm setting him up for the pain point. I'm gonna say, Brad, wow. I mean, sharp gentlemen like yourself, it sounds like you're doing some amazing things. Let me ask you a quick question. What's got you taking a look at another opportunity? Right? What's got you taking a look at another opportunity? When I ask Brad that, I'm discovering his pain point. Okay? Because there's trouble in paradise. See, I have to trust, and we have to trust, and you have to trust that if Brad is on this phone call, no matter how well he packages what's happening with him right now, there's trouble in paradise. And we've got to extract that. And he's going to say, well, remember I was telling you about the company that I'm with? Well, I just found out that they're switching management, or I just figured out that we're changing our lead system, or we're no longer selling IULs. They completely took IULs off the platform. Matter of fact, that's how we recruited Kim Howard's whole team. Kim Howard's whole team, okay, got put on a three-way call with me, and I took the whole team through this. Okay. And when I discovered the pain point, they said, well, they took IULs off of our platform. They literally had an upline that thought that IULs are from the devil. True story. Because they had a ministry type organization. And they were like, listen, we was following the ministry until he said we can't sell IULs. That's where he lost us, Jesus. Right? They was like, we out. You know what I'm saying? We was good till he said we can't do IULs. It's like, what we gonna market? What are we selling? Right? And they tried to transition in the whole life, but they lost a lot of people. But that was their pain point. You guys get it? That was their pain point. So whatever they say after that, you're going to relate to their pain point with feel, felt, found. All right? Feel, felt, found. You know what, Brad? I can definitely understand how you feel. At one point, I felt the same exact way. And what I found was, you know how you make a friend is you relate to their pain. Right? Think about it. Outside of this space, when you relate to somebody's pain, that's when you're friending them. Right? Think about most of your friends. It's like y'all locked in certain places because y'all related from a standpoint of pain somewhere in life. Right? And y'all made that connection. People don't usually become friends off the highlight reel. Right? People usually become friends based on our pain points connecting somewhere. So if I can feel, felt, found you in the pain point, it's like, you know what, Brad? I can definitely understand how you feel, bro. At one point in time, man, I was buying leads too, and they weren't leading me anywhere. I found myself in a lot of debt, right? I was owing a lot of carriers money because I was dealing with chargebacks when I was dealing with this company. And what I found was there was a totally different way to do this business. Right? So I locate his pain and then I bring him the solution. I talk a little bit about our company, right? However you want to, and you guys, I promise you, you don't have to elaborate on the company, right? And you don't even have to talk about yourself. You can say, listen, what we're doing in general, okay, is we got some niche market stuff happening and it's making a lot of people a lot of money, Brad. We got some natural market systems that are making a lot of people a lot of money. And we've got some agency market systems and it's helping people grow teams in ways that they never imagined. What I love to do, Brad, from here is maybe get you to a Zoom meeting in the next couple of days where we can give you a formal overview of the company. Okay. The goal of this three-way call is to transition Brad into a formal meeting. That's the goal. We want Brad in a formal appointment. So this is a formal conversation that led to a formal invitation to a formal presentation. Brad, what I love to do, man, in the next couple of days, get you over to a quick overview, give you an opportunity to take a look at the company, see it for yourself with your own two eyes and make an informed decision as to whether or not. See how I'm planting the seed of decision, though? Like, Brad, this next appointment is where you make a decision. Okay? I want to get you over to another formal presentation where you can see it for yourself and make an informed decision as to whether or not what we're doing here is a good fit for you. Does that sound fair? Absolutely. Awesome. Miss Amanda, listen, always a pleasure. I gotta go. Brad, I can't say enough about this young lady. Listen, you could not have been invited by a better person. Miss Amanda, go ahead and get Brad on the calendar. Make sure you add me to that invite, that meeting invite. Brad, I look forward to putting a face with the name. See you on Thursday at 3. Did Amanda say anything? No. Did Amanda say anything about life insurance policies, illustrations, rule of 72, how money's taxed? Does she have to know any of that, right, to start recruiting and building her business? No. All she had to do was understand how to edify a leader and put Mr. or Mrs. on the front of somebody's name. That's it. And then I did the heavy lifting. If Brad joins the business, who does he join under? Amanda. Could Amanda have been unlicensed and did this? Oh my God. Oh my God. What are we waiting on? Somebody says, well, I'm not licensed yet. Listen, we can start building now. So when you do get licensed, hello, and you do get contracted, you got a team, right? I'm looking at my boy Cliff again. You know, it's like, hey, I could build the barber shop before I get a barber's license, right? So that way, when I do get the barber's license, I already got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people paying booth rent and money rolling into me on a passive level, leveraged income. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate y'all's time. I hope this was valuable. Was this valuable to anybody? Yeah. Anybody have any
Yes, sir.
feedback?
Yeah, I feel as though it's very valuable. I like how building out the team. I remember when I first got here, I wasn't licensed, and I remember brother Hans Augustine and Miss Princess Mep telling me like you can still build your team, and um, yeah, I just see the value in it. So I'm really looking forward to building out a strong team.
Let's go. Let's go. I love Kyrie, man. Kyrie ain't got no fluff for you. He just like, yeah, so like this just makes sense. Like, duh. I get it. like let's go. Like I'm just ready to go. Any other feedback or comments before we wrap up? Nope. Going once, going twice. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate y'all. It's good seeing everybody. Good to be back. Let's go. Let's go. Let's grow. I'll see y'all on the next one. All right. Tonight, Hans is doing the Wealth Showdown or not. I'm not sure, but I'll double check. But that's our next team meeting. And if you guys don't know what that is, because we don't promote it as loud and proud as we could, it's for people in real estate. If Hans Augustin has made over $1 million in real estate, that call is saying, listen, I got a better way, real estate agent, to grow your money without the headaches of dealing with tenants, overhead, plumbing issues, water heaters breaking down, people trashing your property, right? I can show you how to invest in an asset called life insurance and get the same or better return on your money than if you were to invest it in a brick and mortar. That's what that call is all about. So if you guys know somebody who's in real estate or anybody who loves tangible assets, that's a great call to get them on. Okay? Appreciate everybody. Anybody need me, give me a call. Peace.